Hey folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. It is Sunday, January 30th, and this is the same day as I shot the prior video. I ran up to the barn and found some sugar cubes and an extra spacer and a feeder shim. And I'm gonna get these two hives taken care of real quick before the sun sets. So real quick, let me show you a little bit of background. We checked the weight on all of our hives, and we have two that are in immediate need of food. They're severe weight loss. They're really light, so I can lift them with 2 fingers on the back. That's how light they are. So they need some food, and a couple of them's flying a lot. One of them has a lot of flight, so yeah, when they're out flying around in nice weather and there's nothing to collect, they're just burning up their energy stores, and they're in danger of starving out. So let me show you what I've got here. So one thing I have, this is to put a lot of sugar on a hive in a short amount of time. So this is a feeding spacer. It's got a hole right here for ventilation, and there's a screen across it to keep robber bees from going in there. And I fill this thing up with sugar. I put newspaper down. It's got 1/2-inch hardware cloth. If you build one of these, be sure your hardware cloth is attached on the sides, on the inside, and don't staple it from the bottom, because if you staple it down here, you're not going to get a good seal when it sits down. You're going to have that wire under there, and you're going to have all that air gap, and the bees are going to have to propolize that up. It'll let in pests, yada yada. So just be careful if you make one. Fasten your wire up on this inside edge like that right there, see? And I stapled it in there. This is one I had left over from last year. They didn't finish it all before the flow started, so then just got some sugar chunks. So I'll scoop these over to the side, and I'll put a sugar cake right here. I'll put this on high 14 because it needs the most. It's the lightest. Also, I have these individual sugar bricks that you just place a shim that's same thickness basically on top of your hive, and then you set this sugar brick right on top of your frames, and the bees will consume this and it will sustain them. But I'm going to put a couple of them in here with this old sugar here, which this is old sugar I had from last year that I didn't use. And if you put these on your hives and you're coming into the nectar flow, get it off of there, because if the bees have cleaned this out and there's a lot of airspace in here, they'll start building honeycomb up in this feeder. You don't want that, so get them off and get them stored away and use them again next year, like I'm doing right here. Okay, let's get on hives 14 and 27, I think. Let's get going. Okay, I didn't light my smoker for this, just to do 2 hives real quick, but I really wish I did have it lit, because it's in the evening, sun setting. All the bees in here are home. Got us a nice cluster right there, I can see. Okay, I added some sugar bricks, put them right there in the middle, so it'll be, because I can see that cluster is right here in the center of the hive, so that sugar will be right over them. So I'm going to take it nice and slow, move slow. So far they seem pretty easy going. Oh yeah, that looks like a decent population there. Problem is, there's that good population and there's no weight to this hive, so they're going to be hungry. And I'm going to blow on these with just my breath and get them to go down, because when I set this on there, it's going to be right on top of them, and I don't want to squish a bunch of bees. So there's still quite a few there. So what I'm going to do is just kind of slowly start setting it down and moving it, kind of wiggle it around over them, and they'll get out of the way. Just up and down, up and down. So any bee that gets caught will have a chance to get out of there. Okay. Ouch. Get our inner cover back on. I got these gloves. I don't remember where I got them, but it wasn't a big supplier. And I get stung through these occasionally. All right, let's go do 27. Okay, so this one I'm gonna do a little different. I'm just using a shim. There's no hardware cloth in it, and I'm gonna set the sugar directly on the frames. And I got it in these little blocks. Ordered it on Amazon. They sent it in this nice box. No, not really. So funny, I had bricks on these two hives sitting out there to remind me, hey, pay attention to this hive. And sure enough, well, that one's got one too, but sure enough, these two hives needed fed. Plus this is a combine. So I newspaper combined two hives to make this one a bigger hive to get it through winter. Because the two hives alone were not very big. So you combine two hives into one. Use your best queen, and you come away with a stronger hive that will survive instead of two that don't. That propolis really pops when it's cold like this. There he goes, a shot of the bees. Decent looking population. So I'm just going to work this in right over them. There's a little bit of a kind of propolis wonky comb bridge stuff up here that's kind of holding them up, so it's not pushing down on the bees as much as it was on that other hive over there where I used my dragon breath to get them down, which that didn't work out so well. They appreciated that so much, one of them stung me. So these are solid chunks of sugar. Bees can consume them right there on top of the frames. You don't got to worry about sugar falling down in there. Works pretty good. Got one block left. I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm not going to use it. And set your shim on. So when you make your sugar blocks, make sure they aren't taller than your shim, because you got to get this inner cover back on there. Also, another thing, since you break that seal on your hive body, if you get some high winds, this can blow off because that propolis is cold and it doesn't cement together, it doesn't stick. So, and we broke it apart. So you want to make sure you've got some weight on there to protect it from the wind. Or some people ratchet them down. So this hive was pretty busy earlier in the day. It's probably one of those sending all those bees to my bird feeder. I was afraid I wouldn't have enough time to get this done, so but I did. I still got some daylight left. So the days are getting longer now, a little bit every day, which I like that. But, that's basically how we do it. Those ones that I weighed that were like lightweight but not super light, I'll come back. I'm going to make some more sugar cakes and I'll put 1 or 2 on each one of those, just as a precaution. You know, you don't want your bees to starve out. This is the time of year, February, March, is when you think your bees are doing good. You see lots of flight, and there's no nectar out there for them to collect. Your bees will starve out, so you need to pay attention. You need to feel your hive and see how heavy it is. If you can pick it up with 2 fingers, you need to do what I did right there. You need to get some sugar on them. There's other ways to do it. That's just one of the ways I do it. It's easy, it's fast, and I can get it done pretty quick. That's the end of the video. Give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe on your way out, and let's stick around for the beekeeping season of 2022. It's good to be back, and we'll catch you all in the next beekeeping video. Y'all take care.